Long ago and far away, on a cold day in early spring, a young woman planted a rose bush by her veranda steps. She placed her hand on her stomach and imagined the breathing of the tiny being growing inside her. She smiled as she patted down the soil around the rose bush, picturing this child growing with the rose bush and picking roses throughout the years to fill the house with beauty and fragrance. A little girl is born, but the mother doesn't live to see her grow or to see the first purple roses bloom by the front steps. The girl and the rose bush grow, each becoming beautiful, the one delighting in the other. And each winter the child picks the most beautiful blooms on the bush to place them lovingly on the place where her mother's body lies. For you, Mum, this year they are even more beautiful than ever. One summer, hotter and drier than even the oldest locals can recall, the air is filled with smoke and sparks fly from tree to tree. The wind roars across the flat plain land, igniting the dried grass and goading the gum trees into a frenzy. Nothing can stand in the way of this raging fire, and soon almost all that remains of the homes on the plain are smouldering embers and charred fence posts. The girl, almost a young woman now, weeps beside the ashes of her home, trying to find something that can be salvaged. But the fire was fierce and nothing remains. The wide, shady veranda is gone. The fragrant garden is nothing but ash, and only the bare and scorched chimney stands to show this was once a home. The girl and her father drive silently away, tears leaving their mark on soot-stained cheeks. The years pass and the garden takes over again, filling in the empty spaces and covering over the blackened ruins. Wild flowers bloom by the still standing chimney, and roses scramble over rusty nails and charred wood. A young couple drive past the gate to the old place. The sun peeps from behind the broken chimney and casts its afternoon glow upon the wild growth of the garden. "Stop!" cries the young woman. She jumps from the car and almost dances up the overgrown driveway. "I thought I saw..." She laughs and catches her breath as she sees the purple roses swaying in the late afternoon breeze, golden light caressing their petals, almost turning them bronze. "Yes, it's a purple rose. I've never seen one before. It's just what I want for the wedding." She gathers an armful of the lovely flowers. There's no one living here now, so no one will mind. Joyfully she runs back to the car, picturing herself walking down the aisle the next day with her arms filled with the fragrant purple roses. A season of drought follows. The grasses die, plants wither, deep cracks appear in the ground, and the carcasses of cattle, ribs bare and white in the blazing sun, litter the once green paddocks. Again the garden in the old place shrivels and browns, becoming nothing but barren stalks. A new owner purchases the property, but still, through the long years of drought, it sits abandoned and silent. One day the machines move in and the land is cleared. All the remaining debris, nails, metal, scraps from the long ago fire are scraped together and the land is flattened out. The remaining bricks in the broken chimney are knocked to the ground and gathered up with the rest of the debris. A truck carries it all away, and silence settles again over the bare land. Soon a foundation is laid. Walls go up, and a new corrugated iron roof is placed on top of the new dwelling. A wide, shady veranda encircles the house. A large water tank is placed beside the back wall of the house. "There's no point in landscaping just now," he says. We need to wait for the rains to come and fill the tank. She nods. Besides, we've spent all the money we've saved. We can wait. The house is lovely and the view here is beautiful. I love the way the sun sets behind those hills and shines across the valley. The garden will come in time. She empties the teapot at the front steps and goes back inside the house. Each time she empties the teapot over the front veranda, she pauses to enjoy the view and look for clouds in the too blue sky. But still, there is nothing. One day, tipping the rest of the tea over the railing, she noticed something green climbing up the front of the house. "Hey," she calls to her husband, "we've got a garden." She laughs. "Well, we have a plant at least. I'm not sure what it is." "It could be a rose bush," he says. "The leaves look a bit like rose leaves." So she continued to pour out the dregs of the tea over the front railing and daily watch the growth of this straggly little plant. Buds appeared, and one day as the teapot contents went over the railing, she noticed something. "I think it's purple, whatever it is," she said, surprised. There was a slight tinge of purple emerging from the still closed bud. "I think I'll pick some buds and bring them inside. They might do better in some water." Soon the house was filled again with the lovely fragrance of the purple rose, even though the landscape around them was still bare and brown. This rose had survived sadness, loss, destruction by fire, neglect, and the harshness of drought. Yet its bloom was no less beautiful, and its fragrance seemed even stronger and fresher than ever. A rose of resilience. Perhaps this too is your story. The rose is called to bloom and be fragrant, and will hang on and keep on doing that, despite circumstances and despite appearances. You have your own calling, and you have the resilience that comes from being planted by the Creator, nurtured by His love, strengthened by His presence. You are a fragrant purple rose.